Thank you guys all for coming out today. It's good to be here at the Shrewsbury Senior Center. We are AmeriCorps Seniors, the retired senior volunteer program. These are the Fraud Squad players. We go around Worcester County, we visit various places, and we do these presentations so we can educate the public on some of the scams and frauds that are taking place right here in our communities. And we try to do it with a little bit of an entertaining spin. So you're gonna see them play out some of these scams and really hear how they go down and how they happen and how somebody can go from getting a phone call to draining their bank account. Sometimes it's kind of mind-boggling to think, how did these things happen? And this is a great way for you to hear it. And I know for me personally, when I first saw the Fraud Squad perform last year, just hearing these things play out is really eye-opening. And it shows you just how easy it is to get caught up in these things. And if you like what you see, and if you're interested in joining, come see me after the presentation, or give us a call or anything. We're always looking for new volunteers and new people to join. All right, so I'm just gonna take a couple minutes and share some information with you, and then we'll get to the skits. All right, so the Federal Trade Commission, they are the kind of catch-all for all things reported scams and frauds here in the country. And they estimate that last year, scammers made off with over $9 billion. Okay, $9 billion, that's just an insane amount of money. They had 5.2 million scams reported to them. So they have only 5.2 million scams were reported. And they estimate that that's only 20% of the scams that were actually perpetrated in this country. So that's 1 in 5. So if they got 5 million reports, that means there was a 25 million that were done. There were 20 million that weren't reported. Nobody knew about them. Nobody talks about them. Impostor scams were the #1 scam that was reported. An impostor scam is any scam that somebody pretends to be somebody else, whether they're pretending to be your grandchild that's in trouble, or somebody from the government telling you that you owe some kind of fee or tax or bill. That's an impostor scam, and that is the #1 scam that's out there. And you're gonna see that played out today. The other kind of scam that's very popular right now is phishing scams. Now, how many people in here have email or a cell phone? The vast majority, right? And I just heard one go off. See, maybe that's a scam. You never know. That could be, no, that's okay.
Don't take it, it's a scam.
But in reality, what the scammers are doing out there nowadays called phishing, and it's not casting, well, it's kind of casting their hook into the water, is they send you an unsolicited text or an email. And it might even look legitimate. It might look like it came from Microsoft or it came from Amazon or any of these places that you're used to getting emails from. And they bank on that. And you see that email and you click on it and you say, hey, I have a PayPal account. This must be important. And next thing you know, it's taking you to a website that says, we've locked your computer. And you now need to go get a gift card and put the numbers in and pay us $300 or some odd dollars to unlock your computer. They do the same thing with the text messages. I get 5 a day. And once you click on it, they got you. So the most important thing is to just be aware, make sure you know who is sending you the email before you open it up and before you click on any links. And if you're ever unsure, just don't open it. Phone calls, same thing. If you get a phone call where you feel like somebody's leading you down that road, or you're even questioning it, maybe they're pretending to be your bank or Social Security Administration, which they'll never call you, by the way. Hang up. That's your best protection, is just hang up. Cut off the communication. once these scammers get you on the phone, they think, you know, they got something, and they're gonna just try to play on your emotions and really try to keep working on you until you give in. And the best protection is just hang up. And the last thing I'll say about that is, when you get a phone call, if you don't recognize the number, don't answer it. Let it go to your voicemail, because, you know, if it's really important, they'll leave you a message. If you get a call and they say it's your bank, okay, and they're going to ask you for bank numbers, do not give them out. Hang up. Go to your local branch. Call your local branch. They can help you. But never give out your information when you've gotten a phone call and it's unsolicited. Make sure you know who you're talking to. That is the biggest thing here. All right. Another way of protecting yourself is to talk to your family members, talk to your friends about these things. If somebody calls you and they're trying to scam you, they're going to dissuade you from talking to your friends and family because they don't want to be found out. Okay? Never let anybody tell you not to call a friend or a family member, because once they do, that should be a red flag. And remember the golden rule. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. A lot of these scams, as you'll see with one of our skits today, the lottery scam, is they try to tell you won a prize. But to collect the prize, you have to pay. Just keep this in mind, because if it's too good to be true, it is. Now, what do you do if you think you are getting scammed, or you have been scammed? Well, I've passed out some magnets to you guys, and I know a few of you that came in a little late. I'll get those to you. That's our Senior Fraud Helpline. And that's run by this program, the Retired Senior Volunteers. They're local people, just like yourselves, from Worcester County. They've been trained. We have a training that we do with the DA's office and the Sheriff's office here in Worcester. And what our volunteers are trained to do is to recognize, resist, and report. So if you have a question about something that's happening, if you have a question about something you received in the mail, an email, a phone call, give this line a call, speak with one of our volunteers. They can help direct you in the right way. If it is a fraud that needs to be reported, they can help you, report that to the right authorities, whether it's the police, the Federal Trade Commission, or whoever. That's the Social Security Administration, whichever, entity it needs to be reported to, they will help you through that. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for right now. I'm going to have the fraud squad, who you actually came here to see. We're going to begin with the Call for Love, and this is going to be performed by Gail Arquette and Walter Schumacher.
Hello?
Oh, hello. I'm trying to reach someone named...
Betty?
Yes, that's right, Betty. May I speak with her?
Well, you are speaking with her. I'm Betty.
Oh, there must be some mistake. You sound a bit too young to be Betty. The woman I'm looking for was married to my old buddy, Sam.
Oh, I'm afraid you do have the wrong person. My husband's name was Roy Sampson.
You said was? I'm sorry to ask, but did you lose Roy?
Oh, no, that's okay. Roy passed away last summer.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to cause you any pain. Gee, it's good to have someone to speak with. You see, I lost my wife, Angela, last summer, too.
You did? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Miss her every single day. But I'm sure you're busy, too busy to hear me go on and on.
Well, actually...
May I tell you something? Sometimes there's just one there's no one who will take the time to listen.
I will.
You will, Betty?
Yes, I will.
I feel like I've known you for a long, long time. Like I could share anything with you. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, I suppose I do, but how did you lose your wife?
My poor Angela. How did you lose Roy?
Oh, it was a stroke.
My Angela, too. It was so sudden. They just don't prepare you for something like that, you know?
I sure do. But at least my Roy provided for me, so I have none of those worries.
Oh, well, that's good. That's real good. Yeah, some people have it tough after they lose their spouse. Angela is real good with our finances, but I've made a few mistakes.
Well, it can't be all that bad.
Actually, it is. I'm out here on the river, on my ranch in Montana, and things weren't too great last year with the drought and all. Had to take out a second mortgage around the time Angela passed. Now I'm struggling.
Oh, that's not too good.
No, especially when you want to do things that will bring you happiness and company.
Such as?
Such as taking a little trip to visit someone who makes you smile. Someone like you, Betty.
Really? Me? You would like to visit me? All the way from Montana?
Yes, indeed, I surely would.
Oh, how very nice. I think I've made a love connection.
What was that? What did you say?
Oh, nothing really. Just wondered about the flight connections. When do you think you can visit?
Well, how soon would you want me? Because maybe I'm being a bit too forward here. And maybe you got plans.
Oh, actually, I have no plans. Why don't you come next week? Check on the flights and let me worry about getting you at the airport.
Well, I assure you I would do it, but I'm not flush.
What? You need to flush?
What? No, I'm not flush. I have no cash for a ticket right now because of the second mortgage I was telling you about. I'm going to have to wait a few months to make the trip, till I get some more money coming in from winter wheat.
Oh, well, maybe I could help.
What? You? I would be a bit too embarrassed for that. An old cowboy like me borrowing from you.
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, it's not like we're getting any younger. Let's be crazy and wild. I'll send you the money for a ticket.
Well, if you insist, even with your generosity, I'm gonna have to wait until I can make the mortgage. As they're gonna look for me flying out of here and the mortgage not being paid. It's a whopper too.
Well, how big?
Really? I'm too uncomfortable with this. Maybe we should just let this go.
Nothing doing. How big?
The mortgage is for the 2 combines. Each a pretty penny. So we're looking at monthly payment of $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, don't you know it? Let's forget this right now, and I'll visit in the spring.
Well, look, I can do this as a loan. The $8,000 for the mortgage and, maybe about $2,000 more for the airline ticket. $10,000 and nothing less.
I just knew you were something special from the moment you said hello.
Oh, that's so sweet. Could you hold on for just a moment? Well, you heard it. Excuse me, but I'm all fluttery. A cowboy from Montana? This just doesn't happen in Shrewsbury every day. Now, I'm just going to ask him where to send the money. I'm ready to live again.
Oh, Betty, you don't even know his name. I don't think you should send a complete stranger money.
Well, I thought I did.
It looks like you're ready to send $10,000 to someone you just met on the phone, and you don't even know his name.
Well, I feel like I've known him for years.
I don't think you've made a love connection, Betty. I think you're talking to someone who's a scammer. How many people here think Betty should send $10,000 to this person on the phone? All right, I'm now gonna look at the men. And how many here would like Betty to send you $10,000?
Check payable to cash.
Oh, how many people here think Betty should just hang up?
Yes, everyone.
Yeah. Betty, hang up.
Go ahead.
Hang up. Hang up.
Betty doll, are you there? Hello, Betty. I thought I snagged her for sure. Wonder what happened. I'll just call her again later. Maybe I'll have time to call Helen from Holton, or Pauline from Paxton, or maybe even Molly from Millbury. Another successful day of dialing for dollars.
Sounds a little ridiculous to send somebody $10,000 that you've never met, but the truth is that this happens. And if you could hear it, this is what they do. They play on your emotions. They use the loss of a spouse or the changes in your life or financial difficulties. That's how they hook you in. And if you could hear Rudy, the perpetrator, he was leading her the whole time, letting her answer the questions and feeding off of her emotions so he could play on them. And that is the one thing that, you know, that these scammers all have in common is they use your emotions. It's not about intelligence, it's not about, you know, education or anything like that. They find you at a vulnerable moment and they use a vulnerable point, and that's how these things get started. So the next skit we're gonna do is the lottery scam. This is gonna be performed by Tom Logan and Joy Sherrier.
Hello?
We've got a winner. Oh, we've got a winner here.
What? Hello?
Hello, or should I say congratulations. You're the grand prize winner. How do you feel?
Well, I don't know. What did I win?
Honestly, we have been trying and trying to reach you. Yep, we have.
But what did I win?
You are the big winner of the Detroit Automakers Lottery worth $1.2 million in cash.
No.
You're right. Cash is only part of it. You also get the American-made car of your choice.
But I didn't buy a ticket to this lottery.
Oh, but you did, or someone who loves you did. Who could that be? Perhaps someone you know went shopping recently for a new car and bought a ticket in your name from a dealership. One of the great things about this is that those people who purchased Detroit Automakers Lottery tickets are showing their patriotism. You know, buy America. Sound like someone in your family? That's usually how it happens. I'll have to locate the name of the purchaser, but we can do that later. For right now, just think about that brand new car being delivered to you this coming weekend.
Really? Is this really true?
Yep, it's true.
Okay. What's the gimmick?
There is no gimmick. What kind of person would try to trick a wonderful lady like you? No, I just wanted to give you a little help. Go ahead Name the vehicle you want, brand new, right now. Which car do you desire?
Well, I guess I've always wanted a beautiful silver Cadillac.
Then that's what you should have. You've got it. Where do you want it delivered next Saturday?
Saturday? Well, here, I guess, 17 Ridge Road in Hubbardston, Massachusetts.
Okay, you got it. I'll get the make and model in a minute. You will need to cover the taxes and delivery and processing fees, of course. That won't be a problem, will it?
Well, it won't be because of the $1.2 million, that's for sure.
Okay. Let's see. I'll need your bank account number so that we can direct deposit your winnings.
Well, I don't usually give that out.
Of course, but this isn't your usual set of circumstances. And we only have so much time to get this rolling, or we'll have to move on to the next winner.
Next winner? But you said I'm the winner.
You are the winner, but the rules require that you accept the prize, and this gets wrapped up in a total of 15 minutes. Right now, we've used up about 5 minutes. We either conclude this all in within 15, or I'm forced to move on. I don't want to do that. Please spell your name for me.
Jean, Jean, Smith, Smith. But don't you already have my name?
Of course. I just wanted to make sure we had the correct winner. Now your bank account number?
746-4528-2195-3412 County Bank.
Got it. Now, to speed things up for the delivery of your car, you'll need to pay the taxes and fees up front. We're talking about $8,300 as an estimate. You send that to begin the car transfer, and we'll refund any difference from the actual cost.
$8,300? Wow. Well, I hadn't expected that.
I know. No one expects to win these things, but someone does, and this time it's you. Besides, once you get the 1.2 million, 8,300 is nothing, right?
I guess. You need me to send that right now?
Right now, yep. Here's how. Please go to your bank, get a cashier's check for $8,300, and send it to capital D, capital A, capital L, Inc., Box 1476, Detroit, Michigan. DAL stands for Detroit Automakers Lottery. You need to do that this morning. Will you be able to take care of that?
I will. I'm going to call my daughter, and she can go with me.
I wouldn't do that. Sometimes family members complicate things. They just don't understand how quickly we need to move on these things.
Well, I can drive to the bank myself. It's not far.
Okay, I'll call you back in 1 hour.
That soon?
As I said, we don't want to move on to another winner. I want you to get your car and all that money as soon as possible.
Well, okay. This is so exciting. I'm on my way. Thank you.
We've got a live one. Jean will pop that check in the mail. She thinks I'll send the check to County Bank in the amount of 1.2 million. The 8,300 will be a nice payoff for 10 minutes work. And about that Cadillac, well, what does a person her age need with a beautiful car like that? The old biddy. A few more successful calls like this, and I'll get my own silver Cadillac. Seriously, remember, you do not ever need to pay for legitimate winnings. You never do. And there's something else. Never give out your bank account number or other personal information. Never. And by the way, no one should ever discourage you from contacting a relative or close friend. Finally, just keep in mind, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. That's it.
I feel like I should stay here because I couldn't move it up again.
See, that's a very common scheme nowadays, is that lottery scam. That was the third most reported scam that the FTC got last year. And as you can see, a lot of the classic, you know,
Well, you gotta give them
discouraging
character,
them from
too.
seeing a family, talking to a family member, playing on their emotions. You get excited. You get excited thinking, hey, I won $1 million in a car. And with that excitement, then he hurries her. He hurries her up. We gotta get this done now. Don't give her a chance to think, you know? So that is a very classic scam, and that is something, I mean, everybody gets them in the mail. Grand prize winner, call this number. So that's one to be aware of. And again, never give out your bank account number. They're not gonna direct deposit $1 million. They're gonna take everything you have. All right, so our final skit today is going to be the jury duty skit. And this is going to be performed by Joy Cherrier, Tom Logan, and Walter Schumacher.
She's got the old biddy here again. I am. We ready?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What did you say your name is?
My name is Ian Fleece, Sergeant Fleece from the Federal Courthouse in Worcester. Check your caller ID.
I did, and it says federal court. May I help you, Sergeant?
Actually, I'm calling to help you.
Oh, what's wrong?
Ma'am, is there a reason you missed jury duty yesterday?
I'm sorry. I don't understand. I didn't go to jury duty yesterday.
Yeah, that's correct. You didn't, but you should have. Ma'am, that's why I'm calling you. You did not report to the federal courthouse for your call to jury duty yesterday. Just exactly why is that, ma'am?
Well, I did not receive a notice to report for jury duty.
Sure, that's what you say today, but yesterday you were in violation of code 36546 for not reporting to jury duty.
There's got to be some mistake.
There's no mistake. You are Lenore Griffin, correct?
Yes, Lenore Griffin, and I have never missed jury duty in my life. You can check your records.
If you say so. Are you authorizing me to check your records?
Well, I most certainly am. Please.
Well, I just need more information. Date of birth,
October 16th, 1949.
social security number.
Oh, I don't give that to anyone.
Ma'am, if you've authorized me to check your jury duty records, you are placing a certain amount of trust in me, aren't you?
Well, I guess I am.
Then you need to provide me with all of the information I need to check your records.
I suppose you're right. 676
Yes, 676
30
30
5182.
5182. Wait just a moment. Okay, I'm into your system. Yeah, there you are.
Found me? Well, you see how reliable I've been. I would never just skip jury duty.
But you did.
But I didn't. I never received a notice.
The notice was sent to you 3 months ago. Looks like you just ignored it. This will not look good on your record.
But what should I do? Well, what can I do?
Well, I can offer you the opportunity to pay the fine now, and I will note on your record you did so willingly and that you say you never received the notice.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I can pay the fine now, you say. Well, how much is it?
Yes, we can settle this right now for $220.
Well, that seems like a lot.
It's either that, ma'am, or I issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
No,
It's the law.
Sergeant, what's your last name?
Fleece, Sergeant Fleece. Look, my hands are tied. I'm trying to help you get beyond this. Some judges take a particular dislike to people who avoid jury duty. Sometimes they let you stay in jail overnight just to teach you people a lesson.
Well, I don't know what to do. You know, maybe I should call my son and see what he thinks.
That is not a good idea. If we do not resolve this during this call, I will be forced to activate the arrest warrant. Stay on the line.
Well, okay, I will, but you know, you don't need to take that tone with me.
Lady, I am not the one who has a problem with the law. You do. I am not the one who skipped jury duty. You are. Now follow every direction I'm about to give you, and no more questions. Got it?
Got it?
Please take out a credit card and open your computer. You do not know, if you do not know how to use a reloadable card, I will teach you. And don't you dare hang up until you buy the reloadable card and read me the numbers.
Okay.
Right now.
Lenore has done self-harm already by giving his so-called sergeant her social security number. She's going to have to do something about that right away. Should she go ahead and give him the number of a reloadable card too? What should she do now? Let's go back to the beginning and see what Lenore should have done.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What did you say your name is?
My name is Ian Fleece, Sergeant Fleece from the federal courthouse in Worcester. Check your caller ID.
I did. It says federal court. May I help you, Sergeant?
Actually, I'm calling to help you.
Oh, what's wrong?
Ma'am, is there a reason you missed jury duty yesterday?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. I didn't go to jury duty yesterday.
That's correct, but you should have, ma'am. That's why I'm calling. You did not report to the federal courthouse for your call to jury duty yesterday. Just exactly why is that, ma'am?
Well, just in case you don't know, Mr. Whatever your name is, officers of the court never call to see why someone may have missed jury duty. The court will send a letter. If in fact I really did miss jury duty. Officer Fleece, I don't want to be fleeced. I'm going to hang up.
Well, you can't snag everybody. So you got me on that one.
Gotcha.
So you see, once again, playing on the emotions, fear of being arrested, wanting to correct, right or wrong. And I don't know if you noticed, but he says, check your caller ID. And so that's something I want to talk about really quickly. It's called spoofing. And it's something that is fairly easy and very common for scammers to do nowadays. And what spoofing is that they can make it so when their number comes up on your caller ID, it can say whatever they want. It can say your son or daughter's name and phone number, so you think it's a legitimate call. In this case, he has it say the federal courthouse. So Lenore thinks, hey, it's a legitimate call. So that's something to be aware of. Don't always trust what's on your caller ID. And if you have any question, let them leave a message and then you decide whether you're going to call them back or not. Because that way you know where you're calling and who you're calling to. If they leave an 800 number for you to call back and they say they're your bank, never call that number they leave you. Call your bank. Call your local branch. Go to your local branch and show them and say, I got this email or I got this phone call. What do you guys need? And a lot of them will look at you and say, it wasn't us. So it's really important to just really remember that you need to know who you're speaking with, and these scammers are smart, you know, they're out there, they're changing up every day, and the only way to stay ahead of it is to just be aware, you know, and if you have a question, if you think you're being scammed, call that helpline number. It's staffed Monday through Friday, business hours, 8 to 4, so somebody will be able to answer your question, help you out, direct you to the right person, put you in contact with the right person. Never be afraid to call your local police department. I'm sure the Shrewsbury Police would much rather you give them a call and ask them, you know, what they think than have you get scammed, because unfortunately these things just go unreported because people, they don't think it's a big deal, they're ashamed, they feel stupid, and none of those are reasons not to report, because you're doing yourself a disservice, and the best thing you can do if you're in a situation like this is to recognize that you're in the situation, cut the communication off, and then report the scam. That wraps it up. If anybody has any questions, I can,
Does the area of software appear to be the same type of thing? Call saying you need to have this application updated, or you're out of line with this one?
that's a great question, and you know what, I'm sorry I didn't address that earlier. Right now, there's a really big push of software scams. They're called tech support scams, and a lot of times you'll be on your computer and you'll get some kind of a notification, an email, maybe something in the bottom right corner will pop up with an exclamation point saying you need to update something. And the next thing you know, you click on that and you're locked out of your computer, and they ask you for, it's always a reloadable card. That's another big red flag. If they ever ask you for a reloadable card, or go to your CVS and buy a gift card and give me the numbers, big red flag right there. And what they do is that they take control of your computer, and now they have access to all your files. They have access, you know, if you online banking, they can get, so it's something to be aware of. Never click on those, you know, if they come up. If you have a legitimate, you know, antivirus or spyware like Norton, for instance, that's a big name, only make sure you're in communication with them, and if you get a notification, go to their website, call the customer care line that you know you're calling. Don't just trust what comes up on your computer. And the secondary to that is, if you type something into Google, let's say you're looking for Microsoft, you have a problem with your Windows, right? And you type Microsoft into your Google. Make sure that the link that you're clicking on is actually Microsoft. You'll see sometimes it has it says ad right underneath it, but it's so tiny you don't see it. And next thing you know, you click on that link and you're talking to somebody who's now asking you to take remote control of your computer, and you say yes because you assume you're talking to somebody from Microsoft, when in reality you're talking to a scammer. So those are definitely some things you want to be aware of. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes?
Well, you talk about Norton. I got this email yesterday, and they're thanking me for renewing.
Oh,
And I have a $438 charge to renew it. I couldn't get the whole thing to print out. I tried changing the margins, and it wouldn't. It says, thank you for subscribing. And then if you want to cancel or have any query, call us at, and they gave a number. I'm not calling it. I checked my credit card, I haven't been charged, but I never subscribed. But what gave it away was the from, that it didn't say Norton, it was this ridiculous. But yeah, so I was surprised. But you mentioned that, and I just got this yesterday.
so that's a great example, and I noticed when you showed me the second page that they actually had the Norton logo
Yeah.
on there. And that's another thing that you know they do to make it look legitimate. They'll put, you know, it doesn't take much for a scammer to copy and paste the logo and put it into an email. But you see that logo and you associate it with Norton antivirus, and maybe, you know, luckily you're on top of it, but some people might think, you know, did I subscribe to that a year ago when I got my computer, and I'll just do it again, you know, and they'll go through it without thinking, and that's great. And the other thing she mentioned is in the from box.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. Here is, can I tell you what it's
Sure,
from?
absolutely.
It says FGBQPQWZKIGIKIRQL. That was the return from the sender, so that flagged it right away.
And to go back to what I was saying about spoofing, spoofing works for email as well. That from can easily be changed to say Norton antivirus. It would take, you're lucky that you would pick up on it. Some people wouldn't pick up on that, and they would just see the Norton antivirus. And if you put your cursor over it without clicking on it, then you'll see that it's from that long group of, letters, and it's not a legitimate source. So I get those all the time. They say they're from PayPal or Amazon, and then you look at where it actually came from, and you're like, all right, no way. So thank you for bringing that. That's a great
Well,
example.
I'm glad you brought it up, thank you.
I actually got one of those on my iPad, which I've never done before. I'm usually it's on my computer, not on the iPad. But 2 days ago, I got one on the iPad.
That's the big thing. I mean, it's a quick click, and hey, they've just made a few bucks. And for everybody in this room, if one person clicks that and the rest of you all ignore it, well, guess what? They still made money on one person, and that's what they bank on.
Yeah, but they didn't have it, they only had a phone number, they didn't have any place to click. It came up on my screen, but it didn't, it just said call this number.
And that's some of them do the internet, and others will have you call, and then that's the way they do it. And that's why it's just always good. I bet obviously if you were to go to the actual Norton website, which is legitimate, and you were to look at their customer care number, it's not going to match that number. And so that's just the different ways that they want to get you on the phone or get you through email. It all depends on the scammer. They're all different. Anybody else?
I just had a quick question
Sure.
about text messages that come in, that like uninvited text messages, and they have like a string of people, and it says, and they come in the way, and it says, if you don't want to get these anymore, press stop now. I'm not sure where they're going with that. I never press stop now, but
So the best thing to do now, if, for instance, it was like CVS, or somewhere where you do business, right? And then it's okay to text stop. If it's totally unsolicited and it comes with a lot of different people on the recipient list, the best thing you can do is ignore it. It's really unfortunate because there's no simple fix to stop these from coming. Unfortunately, our information is sold and sold and sold and sold, and people get lists of phone numbers and they send out these text messages. So you're never going to be able to totally stop them. The robocalls, you can try to go on the Federal Trade Commission site and get put on the do not call list, but it's not a sure thing. So the best advice I can give on that is to just ignore them. If you see that you're getting them repeatedly from the same person, you could always go to your cell phone carrier and block that number, or on your individual cell phones, usually you can mute something so you don't get them. But the best advice for that is to just ignore them. Absolutely.